All right, it's 1 o'clock. As I say, I'm just going to give folks just another minute just to join in on us, join in with us. And if you have surveys that will be useful, if you don't, or interviews rather, if you don't have any, no problem. We do have example data sets that to use. So, and we'll get to that in a moment. So we'll just let a few other people get logged in here. And I'll start it probably, 2 minutes after to give everyone a chance to get in. But if you want, go ahead and get your interviews ready for this workshop. And Melissa, I wouldn't think it's a terrible thing if they try to get signed in now, right?
Right, you can go ahead and get signed in, and I put the link in the chat. It's also in the email you received.
All right. All righty. And then the other businesses, if that you have questions, that you can put that into the Q&A at any time. And Samantha, Ashley, and Melissa will gladly respond to that. Okay. And I'm shooting for about an hour, but a little bit less, a little bit more. Either way is fine. And we'll just give everyone just another moment. I guess while we're waiting here, maybe just do a quick show of hands. Students, faculty, interested in phenomenological studies or grounded theory, just to get a quick show of hands there. It's almost survey question worthy, but anyway, if you put that into the Q&A and somebody will cull that. I don't know who the fastest is with the frequency percentages, but someone will get that to us. So students and faculty, and what kind of qualitative research you're doing. Okay, and it's 1:02. We have about 15% showed up. I guess that's something. Certainly for you all, that's something because you'll have more attention. So let's get started here. So my name is Jim Lanny. I'm the CEO of Intellectus 360, which has several things. It has our qualitative tool, which we will show you. It has a quantitative tool, Intellectus Statistics. It has a lit review tool coming out somewhere in the 2 to 6 month range. And then we also have training, courses, and consulting. So we have quite a few things within that 360 bucket. So one thing that occurred to us all, which is, typically when we're using, and this tool has a lot of AI, I'll say Intellectus Qualitative, you can use it as just a organizing tool as you would others, or you can use the AI features or both. When you put the interviews in, though, when you are using the AI features, it's interesting to note that, or just to put out to you all, that interviews can be entered in different fashions. For example, here's 3 of them. One typical use case is I have 10 interviews, I put all 10 interviews in. No problem, you can do that. And when you're using AI, it's going to look throughout the entire interview of each of those 10 interviews. However, you could put it in by just the interview question. So say I have 10 interviews and I have 2 research questions or 2 interview questions. I can only enter in a segment of interview question 1. So when AI looks, it's only looking at responses around interview question 1. And ditto for interview question 2. So you can enter them in by interview question, or similarly by research question or study aim. Hey, gosh, my semi-structured interviews questions, these first 3 dealt with research question 1. These latter 3 dealt with research question 2. So just to know that you can break them up in different ways and restrict the AI for a particular scope of information. So just to know that that's there. Okay, so without further ado, I guess it's time to get logged in. This is the link, my.intellectus360.com/login/qualitative-workshop. So, and Melissa, I am curious, do we know how many folks are actually getting logged in as we speak? Or this is kind of
I
after the
don't
fact?
know that. Yeah, I could look that
Okay.
up later, but not right now.
Okay. So please do take a moment to get logged in. And if anything, again, you could just watch, but you can also get logged in and play with some of the example data sets that we'll have there. Okay. So the protocol that I want to share today is a few things. So this is one protocol for inductive, and this is mostly using AI, but I'll intersperse manual and hybrid as well. So obviously the data has to be inputted. It can be transcripts, so PDFs, Word documents, audio or video files that can be transcribed. Obviously, everything has to be read and reread. So for everyone using AI, I think what we've all learned is that you have to read and vet everything. And ditto with this tool. Any AI features, we've done a lot to minimize hallucinations or fictitious text. And there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, you have to be the one to say, this is real, this makes sense, and so forth. So you need that skill and that rapport with your interviews to really know what's appropriate or not. So I'm going to show you how we can generate codes through auto coding. And basically what's happening is that the tool can excerpt important passages, collapse those together, generate a code name and a code description. And those suggested code names and code descriptions will need to be, and excerpts will need to be evaluated by you. And that's that refining aspect of it. So AI refine. They can also code manually as well. There's also a thematizing process that happens, which is I have 20 codes. Well, how many themes are there, right? So that's one thing. So it's going to help identify what the number of themes are or suggested number of themes, and then which codes go together with a theme, and then suggest a theme name and theme description. So that's all in that auto thematizing process. And then as a refinement process as well, where the researcher is going through thereafter and making sure that the suggested theme, name, and description make sense. The codes that are in there make sense. We also have and then themes can be entered in manually as well. We also have a research question theme alignment, which is that people rarely are doing things just for the fun of it, although I sometimes do things for the fun of it. But most of the time, we have some research question that we want to examine. So there's a functionality within the tool that helps align which themes answer or correlate or relate to which research question. So there's an alignment there, and then a rationale is provided. As in the codes and the themes, those should be evaluated as well. Okay. We also have a visualization, and I'll show you what I mean by that, and then there's a download of it. So, all right, so let's get to the tool itself. Okay. So for those that are logged in, great. So let me go ahead and run through the process, and then quickly, and then we'll let people share projects, and then answer questions kind of about your particular project. So the goal is to show you the tool, but it's a workshop. So if you can get stuff done, we're loving that. So, okay. So let's just do a quick run through. So first I want to create a project. And here for folks that are entering in data, you can go to new projects, enter in a project name, purpose statement, research questions, and create the project. Let's just do that real quick. I don't have research questions to put in, create project. And then the next step is to add transcripts or upload different files or start typing. So let's just do that again real quick. So for those that have transcripts, you're going to go to create project and click there. Click new project, which is upload your own transcripts or audio files. Put in the project name. You don't necessarily have to put in a purpose statement. If you have research questions or additional research questions, that's going to be helpful in that research question theme rationale component. Okay. And then create project, and then you're ready to upload your different files. So if you have questions about that, ask, because someone else is going to have that same question. Or ask Melissa, Ashley, or Samantha in the Q&A, and we'll walk you through that. For those that do not have transcripts, let's go a different route with the existing kind of play transcript. So we can go to Create Project and go to Sample Project. Now here, for those faculty, we have transcripts only, well, for students too, transcripts only or full project, which means that it already has excerpts, codes, and themes there. So, but for the purposes of doing a dry run, we're going to just look for transcripts only. And why not just look for psychology, counseling, social work? Okay, so there's 4 interviews that have been uploaded. Okay, and click on one of these, and they'll be talking about anxiety and depression, as the interview title suggests. So once you have your interviews there, I want to make sure that everyone gets them. Folks that want to have their interviews or examples have a moment to do that and ask questions, should you have any. And I'll be looking under questions too. Okay, Q&A. So question about supporting Arabic language. Surprisingly, the AI takes different languages. I haven't tested all the languages, but Wafa, you are our test case. So, but I've tested a few different languages, and it has read them wonderfully. But you go ahead and put that in there and report back to us, okay? When you create the account, it looks blank. You have to actually click on the interviews themselves to get there. So that's very common. Handle Spanish? We believe so. Wafa? We got a thumbs up. It's reading Arabic. All right. And then we'll also do for Linda. Let's hear about it from Spanish. So I believe the codes and themes are going to come back in English, but it's going to read those different languages, which is pretty darn cool. Okay. So Dilip is getting into details about which engine's running. We have several engines running for different tasks. I always want to know what prompts your question. So, okay. So once we have interviews in, let's go ahead and do some excerpting and coding. So I'm going to go to AI tools, and I'm going to go to inductive coding, which means I do not have any codes. Deductive is when you have existing codes, but inductive, there is no, there's currently no excerpt. It's a blank slate. I have 4 interviews. help me discern what are the important excerpts, collapse those similar excerpts together, and then suggest a code name and code description. So that's the first step in inductive auto coding, which is found under the AI tools. Okay. So it is found in those 4 interviews, 19 different codes with 66 excerpts. So I'm going to go to preview. Okay. Now, once I have this preview, I can see the code, coping strategies, various methods and techniques to manage anxiety, cyclical nature, recurrent and self-perpetuating aspects of depressive symptoms, and so forth. So we have all of these. Now I can accept those codes to the project, okay? But we have also added a refining step should you want to. You don't have to. But the refining step is basically helping to train the AI with what is more dialed into what you want and what you don't want. And with these, you can see these codes here and the excerpts. Excuse me. Okay. Pardon me. So there's a couple of ways of looking at this. One is to say, hey, gosh, there's 6 different excerpts happening here for this coping strategy that might be worth thumbing up. Hey, gosh, this only has 2 excerpts. So one is by the name and description that you may want to dial into, yes or no. The other one is perhaps by the number of excerpts, okay, that you may want to thumb down. So having done that, so there's some input to be had, then it regenerates the whole thing. So will the same exact code show up? Not necessarily. Will the same excerpt show up? Not necessarily. So we are adding it to the picture. So we have the initial prompts, and then we have this additional feedback or training, as it will be, as it is, to kind of then regenerate, well, excerpt again, and then regenerate suggested code names and descriptions. Still takes a few seconds. 20 codes, 62 excerpts. We only allow 1 round of it, so the refinement is complete, and I'm just going to apply to the project. So if I click on these, so here you can see those different codes. So this code is, so the next step is that refinement again, which is I need to go into every one of these details of the codes to say, does that code suggestion make sense with that description? And do those interviews excerpts make sense? Okay. So I want to make sure they all align. Okay. And you'll want to do that for every single code. Okay. So that's purely AI. I can also do a hybrid version of this, which is, I think that this passage is important, and I would like some support in naming that passage. That would be under Add Code. So I'm highlighting the excerpt. I'm adding AI and selecting Add Code, AI Assist. So now it's suggesting a code name and code description for that excerpt. So I'll consider that a hybrid version of it. I'm selecting the excerpts and the AI is helping with the naming of it. The third mode is to do a purely human manual response, which is anxiety, whatever. Let's just call it anxiety, some code description. So once I have that manual code here, nothing's been assigned to it, but I can then do assign a passage to it. Okay. So I can select the passage. Okay. And then just click the plus button. And now that passage is assigned, that manual passage is assigned to my manual code. So what we've just have seen is 3 modes of coding: purely inductive, hybrid, purely manual, and then hybrid, where the AI is really assisting with the naming. Should really call that AI name assist, but that's another story. Okay. So any questions at this moment? So I'm exploring lived experiences with phenomenology. So is it better to keep all codes so as to not to eliminate the true essence? I don't want to guide it to what I'm just saying. So that's a great question. So at this stage of the game, should I be dumping codes? Not necessarily. I mean, you could always dump them. Okay. So, and by the way, I mean, lived experiences, if you had 100 codes, who's going to keep that in their brain? So, I mean, I think there's a reality of what's reasonable and, and what's saturation. So there's got to be some balance to be had there. Okay, we've done the coding. Let's move on to thematizing. So for thematizing, I can go to AI tools and go to automatic thematizing. What this is doing now is looking at those 20 codes and saying, how many themes are there? So it has suggested 10 themes. You can update this. Oops. Let's do that again. What I was trying to do. So came up with 11. So here are the 11 theme names. Okay. I was going to say I could update it here if I don't need, tons of themes. All right. So I can update the themes, update that. It's going to edit the number of themes to 8, and then I can apply that to the project. So what it's doing is it is look to see how many themes and then which codes go with that theme. So here, if I go to details, so I'll need to vet the suggested theme name, suggested theme description, and then those 2 codes, daily impact and persistent burden, are the codes that are aligned with that theme. So the refinement is going into each one of these themes, details, to see if they make sense. Okay. That is a AI-driven thematizing process. We also can thematize manually by putting in a theme name. Okay, theme description. So there is a theme name here. I probably just passed it already. Right here. Okay, doesn't have any. So just to know that that icon is a theme, that icon is a code. And then you can simply drag a code into a theme if you wanted to. Okay, so that is manually adding a theme. I could also have an AI assist to say, hey, you know what? I think joy and pleasure kind of go together as a theme. Is there anything else here? Maybe self-acceptance. Okay, maybe I suspect they go together. Okay, so I can now select those codes, generate AI assist, and now I have a suggested theme name and theme description. Okay, so just to kind of recap that process, we have the AI auto thematizing, which will do the whole thing by itself, and I can thematize manually or let AI assist me with tying together particular codes. All right. I've uploaded my interviews and codes. Can you please look at my project? Well, you can share it. So let's get to the sharing part. So we can go to here. And I'm working on think I'm working on psychology, social work. So what you can do is just go to go to the main homepage here, go to the three dots to the right of open, and go to share, and then type in my email address, which is james@intellectus360.com, and click share or invite rather, and then I'll look to get into it with you. All right, but let me just carry on for a few more moments here with our existing project. So we have codes and themes. Another few things to do is to go to the Insights tab. And the one thing I would do is go to the bar chart. And here under the bar chart, this is for theme occurrences. This is tying together a few things. Here are all of the themes on the left-hand column. Okay. Here are the 4 interviews. And here is the contribution. So this first interview, depression number 2, has contributed 6 excerpts to mental health dynamism, if that's the title of it, mental health dynamics, excuse me. Okay, so, but what's also interesting here is that you can see that that theme is well represented across all interviews. That seems like that's making for a good theme. Conversely, this one, anxiety across all ages, hey gosh, I only have one individual that's contributed 1 excerpt to that theme. Maybe I want to dump that. So looking at the Insights document under visualization, okay, can be helpful. Oops. All right. Maybe if I go down here. There we go. Okay, it's just too large. There's also the code occurrences. And again, you can see the codes listed here and the number of the number of excerpts associated with each code. Again, you have one code with 1 excerpt. Maybe these are not the the broadest range. But going back to that, I believe that gentleman's question, which is, hey, you know what? How do I know what's important yet? So there's a balance there. Do I keep it? Do I dump it? Sometimes there's a needle in the haystack that I want to be aware of. Other times, so just look at them, and you could look at these individual things by going to the excerpts, okay? And then going to the, I think if I just go to, codes I was under, okay? So you can look at the particular excerpts here. Okay? What is the best way to do this? So just click into it. You can see the code and then the excerpts. All right, so you may just want to review that. Just the point there. Okay, 2 other things, and then we'll move along here. The first is to drill into the different themes. Here's you can go for each theme, pick a theme, or all the themes, some representative excerpts. I would suggest 3 of them at least. If you don't have 3 excerpts, maybe that's not a great theme. And submit. And here we're starting to build out your results document. I have my theme name, cognitive overload. I have my theme description. I have the code associated with that theme and my supporting excerpts. You should do that for every theme that you have, that you want to retain. By the way, this is all going to be downloaded to a Word document, so you can edit this later, but you'll want to get every theme, description, excerpts. Then there's also the research question theme rationale, which is, here's one of my first research questions: how do individuals describe the impact of anxiety and depression in their daily life, including work, relationships, well-being? And I can select different themes to go with that. That's one. But I could also use AI to say, they believe that these 6 themes contribute to that research question. let's see what that looks like. So here is the research question rationale section. Here is the research question. Then it's going to tie these different themes to that research question. So how to describe the impact of anxiety and depression in daily life, work, relationships? Well, emotional strain and functionality. Now, here is the rationale for why that theme could be associated with that research question. Here's a second theme: dual burden of emotional and physical distress. Rough going there. And here is the rationale for why that theme is related to that research question. And this is all for your consideration. You can bang this out pretty quickly. Do the vetting process of the codes, do the vetting process of the excerpts, evaluate things looking at bar charts, okay, and seeing the representativeness of the codes of the excerpts and participants on the themes, and then download it and evaluate it. So that should get us going. Okay. Okay, so let's get to projects. So, all right, so pending transfer. Okay, so who's sharing this? Kay? Let me see if I need to refresh here. Okay. So is this Kay here? Maybe
Okay, if you can raise your hand too, we'll unmute you.
Or KA is the only one I really have.
Here we
KA,
go.
who's ever emailed this is, that's the one really, the person we'd like.
All right, Kay's in there.
Okay. Hi, Kay.
Hi, doctor. How are you?
Good. Please call me Jim. Is this your project, Kay?
Yes, please.
Excellent. Okay. So you have 8 transcripts. You have 1 code with nothing in there yet.
I
Okay.
uploaded a code, but I think, yes, that's the code uploaded.
Okay. So code for project 1. I'd probably have a more detailed code name than that. So you want the code names to be descriptive, okay? So maybe this is it, knowledge areas. So you may want to have those as the,
Okay.
so let's see what we can do here. So let's just, for the fun of it, let me get this up out of the way. So let's just do this. Oh boy, okay, let's see what we got here. So Control C. Okay. All righty, so it looks like you have this, which is knowledge and then objective, knowledge areas. So is this a theme that you have here? Or a
Yes,
code?
please.
What is this? This is knowledge objective to capture the types and sources of knowledge and educational equity that leaders need to promote. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a code manually. Okay, so we're going to go into the deductive mode here. So let's create a code name. Okay, so let's just call this knowledge areas. And then let's put in some code descriptions. Okay, I don't think we need these. I think it's okay. Let's leave it at the moment. Doesn't matter. So I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing here, but I want to go through, and then you have knowledge areas, then you have sources of knowledge. I'm going to get rid of this for a second. Then I'm going to add another code called sources of knowledge. Okay, and then I'm going to put in some some description of that. Okay, and then lastly, I'm going to come up with just another code, which you're calling motivation. And then we have, you know what I'm missing is the objective in here. I'm going to put in the objectives as well. All right, I'm going to add the other objectives. Oh, the other ones don't have objectives. Well, this one, knowledge did. Okay, so under this, details. Okay, I'm just going to add the objective there as well. Okay, so I have three topic areas: motivation, knowledge, and sources of knowledge. Please.
An organization.
Oh, did I miss that?
Knowledge.
I'll look at those three.
Yeah, knowledge, motivation, organization.
All I have. Okay, so I think I missed that, but you can add it after. I'm sorry. Those are the ones I have at the moment. All right, knowledge.
Please, should I send it to you?
Well, I'm just going to carry on with this for a moment, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You can always add code. So, but let's go ahead and do a deductive process. So I'm going to AI tools and deductive. So this is that you already have codes, as you do here. And now we're looking to see if we have excerpts that match or that go together with those a priori codes. Okay. All right, so it's found 77 excerpts. Let's just go ahead. So it's found lots of excerpts. So accepted. So for these things, so I would go into each one of them now, okay, and say, here's our code name and description. And then, so we're talking about knowledge areas. And then you'd want to vet these excerpts to make sure that, hey, they make sense, that they go together, okay?
Okay.
That's one piece of it. So you're already halfway home. So then I might go into the thematizing process. Seems like you need more codes in that, by the way. Maybe those are themes. That seems a little off for me. So let's just see. Okay. You need at least 6 unassigned codes. So what are we going to do here? Let's just look at the bar chart under codes. So, wow. Okay. So what this tells me is that for these codes, at least, and maybe they are themes, that they're pretty well represented, okay, by all the participants. That seems like a good sign. That's one piece of it. Let me go back and do something too. Let me go back and add a theme manually. Let me just go add a theme manually. Okay. And scooch that into knowledge. Okay. And let me just add a theme manually. Sources of knowledge. Okay. And then scoot that into that, and then motivation. So I should have asked you, and I should be interacting with you more. I apologize. Were these 3 items designed to be themes or codes? Or you don't?
Originally, I thought they were codes, but please advise me, what should they be?
I don't know enough about your study to answer that question. Well, here's what we can do. Okay, so you've just seen the process. This is being recorded, and we have some sense of either codes or themes around knowledge, motivation, and source of knowledge. Let's go ahead and dump everything. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and dump everything. Ah. And then I'm gonna move along here. So okay. Why don't we just, for the fun of it, just do inductive coding? We have the transcripts, and let's see if in fact we get things like knowledge, sources of knowledge, and motivation. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Melissa, I'm just catching some of the Q&A. Of course, folks that don't want to share their project, don't call on them. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Okay, so it's found 45 codes and 118 excerpts. Some of them with just one item in there. Let's just apply it to the project. So it's done a different set of analyses going on here. Let's grab some thematizing or themes. These look like more nuanced themes to me. Okay, I might be collapsing some of these things. You know, identity and equity and diversity. It seems like equity and diversity and inclusion all kind of go together a little bit. So I might want to collapse these equity themes together. All right, so what we have here is a whole different picture. It does seem much more nuanced in those general topics, but I mean, you're getting into like professional development. I see, you know, training, educational equity training and workshops attended. So there was under those themes, I think there. Well, we just talked about equity. Um, I would take a look at these codes and for sure. Go into each one of these. I mean, you have what you have. You can go into each one of these themes and look to see if that theme name and theme description is capturing, you know, some experience of these 8 folks, and if these codes are making sense, and read the excerpts. I think that would be my next task for you.
Okay.
All right. And typically you do just the codes, stop and vet it, and then go into the codes first, then go into the themes. But we have them here. I would peek at these and see if they fit. By the way, not crazy. I mean, maybe they need to be collapsed, but not crazy about a code with one excerpt. All
Okay.
right. And you can look at that over bar chart at the code level. Okay. Represented 3 codes. So these guys with just like one excerpt, not so sure. Okay. And I gotta tell you, I'm not really crazy about this either. I'd want to look at your data again, frankly. I don't like that it's only one in it, one, for some reason, one participant is providing all the excerpts for each of these codes. I'd want to see more of a diversity like this top one here. Institutional support, where at least you have, you know, 3 different folks in there. So I don't know how that data is collected, but that gives me like that makes me pause.
So should I re-enter the codes manually?
You can enter the codes manually. by going here to add code and manually entering the code name and description.
Okay.
And then once you have that, you can tie a excerpt to a code by highlighting the excerpt and then hitting the plus button, and it will add it to a particular code. But that concerns me a little bit over here. This is, I mean, that feels a little bit better there, but that I'm not crazy at, Pat. I think I would be looking very carefully at what's happening here. And maybe it is a matter of at the code level, going through the transcripts and adding particular excerpts to each of these codes. I guess I'd want to see more than one person contributing to a code.
Okay.
Okay, I'll stop there. Feel free to, call us, email us, and happy to help.
Thank you so much.
Yep. All right, so let's see if other folks have, I guess, so I have this one. Melissa, is this one okay to get
No.
into?
Not that one. Jessica, what? Oh, there, Jessica Watson. And then Jessica, if you could raise your hand.
I don't see it.
Let's see. It's at the bottom, I believe.
Oh, Jessica, I got it. Shared. Okay, got it. Okay.
All right. And then Jessica's
Okay,
in
so I
here.
have one transcript. So, okay. So, hi, Jessica.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. So, different kind of a transcript, with all the participants in there. Okay, so what are we doing here?
So I had put it in that research question. All the participants were asked the same question. That question in particular was, how has this experience or wellness clinic contributed to your professional identity as an emerging physical therapist? And again, just with the responses, I put it all in one document, but I wasn't sure if I was able to analyze in one or if it needed to be teased out.
Well, I think you're at the use case of putting it in by the question. We could have all the interviews because you probably asked them different questions too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're in the use case of this. No, I'm not going to do it perfectly, but of this, which is that you've asked you put it in by interview question or research question. Perfect. So let's just go ahead and see what the AI does in terms of what codes relate to what's contributing to them as a physical therapist. So nice, clean, right around, because you're not going to get any other, other questions bleeding into it, so to speak. So it has found 6 codes with 23 excerpts. Let's see what's happening here. So clinical skill applications. So you can vet this in real time. Tell me yay and nay here.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, definitely. Yes. Yes. I don't know if necessarily
Okay.
that would be
Okay,
one of
that's
the
fine. That's fine.
that one would be applicable. So I think for the majority of the AI
5
identification.
out of 6. That's 84%. Not a bad hit rate. Okay. So if I went to refine, so I think this is the one that we're going to thumbs down. Okay.
Correct.
All right. And then we'll just run it again. Presumably we'll not have that in there. We'll find out. And it might well find other codes. Takes a second to do this. Where are you calling from?
Pennsylvania, Allentown.
All right. Okay, it's found in an additional code, 31 excerpts. Just going to apply that. So your job now would be going into each one of these codes,
Mm-hmm.
going into the details, looking at that, because you may want to edit that, okay? I want to get rid of that AI part of it, okay? And make sure that that code name, suggested code name and description and excerpts make sense, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Step one. By the way, just for the heck of it, let's just go into insights. Let's go into bar charts. Let's go into codes. Well, duh. Okay, it's only one transcript. Okay, my bad. Okay. All right.
So
So
if I were to have separated it out for each participant, then it would have
yeah, it
kind
would
of
accept
pulled.
correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not opposed to what exactly what you did. The fact that you had an 84% hit rate in 2 seconds and resonated with that, you're on the right track here.
Mm-hmm.
84% in 2, I mean, that's pretty great. I think I would next go to how do these things, well, to go through each one of them, then go to the thematizing process. Did you have an A priority? So it came up with 2 themes, professional development and empowerment and adaptive clinical competency. Does that seem about right? Or it's tough to say?
I think it's tough to say.
Okay, without the description. So let's
Right.
just, yeah, and frankly, I like more than just 2 themes, by the way. Okay, so let's apply that to the project. So you would go into each of these themes now with that icon into the details and look at that theme name and description and look at that code, okay? So that would be the next step of the process. Go into each theme and drill into those details and edit that as appropriate.
Okay.
The next part of it is to start to build that out. So let's just go to the theme description. Here's theme 1. I'll just randomly select a few of these. I'll just check all of them because what you can edit these after. Here's the theme, description, and the codes with it and excerpts. And then it's easy just to edit it out of there. Next theme, collective growth. There's the theme, there's the description and excerpts. We'll just do the last one. Okay, so this would be something to work on. Okay, and you can edit these things after. The other thing is the research question. You have one question. Let's just put all of them there. So what this rationale business is doing is it's saying, how does professional growth and specialization relate to the experience contributed to your professional identity? And then here is their supposed rationale or suggested rationale for why that theme goes with that question, okay? And ditto for that theme with that research question, and ditto for the third. Then you can just download this. So after you go through the codes and descriptions and excerpts and the themes, you really kind of have however big this document is, you have a 6-page document, and you may want to exit out, again, edit out some of these excerpts that don't make sense, but you have a working results chapter.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a start. I mean, definitely do the legwork. Definitely do the legwork up here in the transcripts, okay, of vetting those. Once you have those, download everything and start editing. And you'll say, this fits, this needs to be reorganized, this needs to be renamed. That excerpt doesn't really represent what that theme and so forth, okay?
Yeah, no, thank you very much. It's very helpful. I appreciate it.
Yep. I'll say this to you and say this to everyone else. Please share this with others. I mean, there's a healthy group here today, but you know, come and share it with other folks, colleagues and faculty and so forth. Are you faculty or student?
Faculty.
Faculty, right on. Yeah, yeah, share it with students. At least you can do the whole thing manually first and have this as an addition to it. You can start with this and add on to it later. So I think that there's different approaches to it, okay? So, and I think we're kind of getting to time. Let me see if there's any other questions here. If you're faculty, for sure, there is free training. You can get a trial of it. We also have a company that are we have a competency-based courses that go with this. Okay. So grades go to your grade books. So you can look at that. All right. Goes behind your LMS. The tool can go with your open access. And so anyway, again, feel free to contact Ashley or Melissa for trials and of a review of the lessons, trial of the course. Happy to give demos to your faculty as well. The course is free. Good question. They're nominally priced. I mean, it's something like $8 for a year, something of this sort. It's really, really inexpensive. Okay, like more information about the software. So right, so Sandra, so Melissa or Ashley will probably reach out. Not will probably. Ashley should reach out to you and see if you want trials or demos or whatever you'd like there. Information about the software, other kinds of questions. Okay, Ashley's put her contact information in, which makes me want to put this contact information in. I should do this. So let me see here. From the current slide. Okay, so here's some contact information for Ashley, who can help set up those trials, those demos, courseware. Melissa is available. I'm available. Our phone number is there. The website is there. Okay, is it online only? So yes, so these are online tools. And then Ashley can talk to you about pricing. It's really dependent upon the number of adoptions. Higher the adoptions, the lower the fee. There's monthly. You can do it by the class. You could do it by the month, or you can do it by the department. Is the most usual use case. So, ladies, anything else I should be discussing here or mentioning?
I think that's it. We'll send the
Okay.
recording to everyone and all the contact information, links to other webinars, all of that will be in that email too. And you'll have access to this tool until tomorrow, so you can get in there and work on your project if you'd like.
Perfect. And when is there's a quantitative workshop coming up, and when is that?
It's every first Thursday of the month. So our next one, and we'll put links to that in the email as well. So
Very
the
good.
next one is going to be on the 2nd.
Got it. I hope this was helpful to everyone. Happy to answer questions thereafter, and I wish you well in conducting research and having easy to conduct research, which is rigorous, and just letting AI assist you in keeping things organized and helping you really get through your transcripts. So thank you all. I wish you a wonderful rest of the week and a wonderful weekend. And with that, I'll sign off and say thanks for joining. Okay. All right. Bye all.